Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Stock Market Update video, weekend edition. So today we'll be looking at overall market and talk a little bit more about it. We had a pretty bearish week, so we'll be looking at to see if we're going to get any potential bounces coming along the way, or we're going to get a little bit more downside. And we'll also be looking at the 7 mega cap techs, Tesla, Meta, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple, and Nvidia to get a better gauge at how healthy the charts are, if they'll be those mega cap techs are going to be helping us with the market, or they're going to go against us and drop more. So, all right. And I'll be doing the commodities update tomorrow. And let's get started on the Qs. So the Qs, currently pretty bad week, honestly. So we opened up on Tuesday. So that big red day, pretty much that Tuesday red day was kind of a warning because we didn't get much rotation. So on this drop, this little consolidation here before this week, we were still getting a rotation into SPY and in other sectors like XLF, XLV, which is the healthcare sector, as well as the financial sector. So that was still healthy, right? QQQ pulls back, tech pulls back, and financials and healthcare get some bids, so that's fine. But on this drop, it was pretty much this week. Pretty much, it was mostly all the sectors was dropping, especially on Friday. That you'll see money rotating out of the market overall. You can see semis was super red, and all the other sectors was all red. And that was pretty notable for a bear day. And so now we're looking at this weekly tightening range shaping up here. So on the weekly, we'll go to the weekly chart. So you can see on this big bounce up, there's pretty much one move, and this huge drop that we had a couple of weeks ago in July is the move down, and now we got that bounce in August, right? Each move is within the prior move. That's what an equilibrium is, and now we got this big drop coming. No signs of bounce yet. We pretty much closed at the low of the week, but we are getting slightly closer to the range of the bounce of the tiny range, right? It could go all the way down here, it could go down here, it could even break it, but the chances of that is a little bit lower because of this tiny range. So we may potentially do something like this and tighten up in September. But September is usually more of a bearish month, so we'll see how it ends up playing out. If the bears can actually break this low, then that's very, very notable. That'll be the first weekly downtrend confirmed in really, really long time. Pretty much this here, this structure here. This was a tiny weekly downtrend confirmed lack follow through, confirming lack follow through. Pretty much end up being a monthly bull flag. But so that was, yeah, a long time ago, almost a year and some more ago. So if it confirms where it can break this low, that's a weekly downtrend confirm, and that's very notable for the market. That means it's a shift in narrative. So we'll have to see about that if it does happen. And we zoom back out here, we can see that. Let's go to the daily. Weekly is fine. So we can see that this structure here, right? We did break through that on this drop, but we came back above it and closed the week above it. So that's a good sign. That means this level held that week. So essentially, we are kind of coming back to it again. You can see this low is pretty much the high of this structure, the sideways action. So there's going to be support in this area, as well as if we zoom into the daily charts, you will see that there's a little bit of support here as well, where we chopped around, had a battle between the bulls and the bears before we decided to bounce. So there is some level of support here as well. So what I want to see, at least some kind of trend change, maybe like an hourly uptrend confirm here, and we can say maybe then we can potentially say that the low of this equilibrium may be set, right? If we don't even get, hourly trend change, what are we talking about, right? Bears is still in absolute full control, even on the 5-minute, right? On this entire day, we did not get a single 5-minute uptrend. Drop, try to get a big enough bounce, right? We can shape up maybe a 5-minute uptrend, and then we didn't, and then kept going. Not a single 5-minute uptrend was even formed here. So no bounce here either after hours. So no signs of anything yet. And we aren't that oversold, right? We're looking at RSI, right? 426 4 hour and 29 on the 1 hour. We can still definitely go lower. I've seen lower, much lower before. And sometimes we get the RSI in the teens, right? So doesn't mean this can't get any lower. So bare minimum, right? Give me some kind of an hourly uptrend. Let's say we come down here, bounce, and we get like a small hourly uptrend. Then we can maybe say, okay, this can be that weekly equilibrium's low, and we may tighten up from here on and bounce a little bit higher overall. Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe something a little bit lower into this range, potentially like 440. Yeah, we come down here to 440. Let's see, another, yeah, 1.7%. Then, yeah, we'll see how futures open up on Sundays. Okay, that if we get a gap down, there may potentially be buyers trying to nail the lows and get that bounce going. Yeah, if we get a big gap down to 440, I may probably play for a bounce, set a tight stop, potentially play for that tiny range on the equilibrium. And yeah, we're getting a rate cut soon as well, so I think that's why the market it's pricing in that. Usually, they pricing the bearish narrative on the first rate cut because of recession coming in. We didn't a job data was okay on Friday too, wasn't that great. So we'll see how it ends up playing out this September. So I'll be a little bit cautious, definitely cautious as well. And yeah, just go with the price action. All right, Tesla. So Tesla is looking not that great. So we had a breakout. So this is a tiny range, right? Pretty much what we just talked about earlier, tiny range, and we had a breakout right here for that 2 days, and it was stronger than Qs for these 2 days as well after that breakout. So it was relative strength, and then we had that big dump with the Qs as well, and it just kind of gave it all back. So either the Qs start bouncing right at that spot on Monday, and Tesla just becomes a back test of the breakout. So this was a resistance, right? Now you want to see that as support, and we just bounce from here. That'll be the best case scenario for bulls. Just a back test, and then we bounce back again. But if the Qs drop even more, then we may break through that and potentially just be a fake out here and then come back below. Then we'll be probably back testing this $200 again if that happens. So we'll see how the overall market shapes up as well on Monday. Let's take a look at the rest to see if they will be helping the Qs. So Meta here is not doing that much either. Got some kind of support down here, but it's still very far. If Meta drops another 7%, it's definitely going to drag the Qs down. So, and we haven't gone over this all-time high either. Pretty much very indecisive. Also a tiny range, right? Big go up, big go down, didn't get over above the prior high, and then we're coming back down again. So also forming that tiny range, so it may just chop around in this area before it decides to which way it wants to go. I think that's going to be the theme of September because we have so many catalysts, right? Elections, rate cuts, all that kind of data coming up, and market is just undecisive, and market doesn't like uncertainty. So we might get that wave down for September, and then get that tiny range once we get those results in September. And potentially after that, maybe the market can go back up, but we'll see about that. This could just as easily be a bear break after that tiny range as well. So, all right, Amazon. So Amazon is pretty much the same thing, back testing that structure that I talked about for the Qs. So pretty much August structure where we chopped around before we break bull. So very clear channel. So this is one channel. This is one channel. So pretty much bulls are holding above this prior channel. As long as they do that, it's fine. So, we bounced from here once and now we're testing again. So the more times it tests, the more times the liquidity will be used up. That means if we continue to test here, then there be going to be less buyers and potentially break through that. Now break into here. If we do break into here, I'm looking more so closer to this 167, 166 zone for a bounce. And that'll be the target for the first target for the bears. And we'll see about which way, if they can break that or not. If they can break that, I'm probably looking at 162s, 163s. So, and ideally for bulls, pretty much bounce right at the spot. Because when we want to hold above this prior structure, right? Come back a little bit lower to 170 and 169, but that's about it. And we want to see a bounce from here for bulls. And then come back to test the top of the structure. So very clear around this 177 zone, gonna be have resistance. And Google, our lead bear, absolutely weakest chart. So I've been talking about how Google has been the weakest chart for a while, because meanwhile everyone is V-shaping almost to their highs and having a tiny range like that. Google barely bounced, and it's a bear flag on the weekly. And yeah, and we're getting first back to daily oversold again. So this daily oversold marked the bounce, and this is just a bear flag, and now we're coming back down to here, getting back to daily oversold again. And we have some support pretty much right at the spot, but no signs of bounce yet. So this low is pretty much marking the top high of this high, and we're coming, so pretty much coming back down to this structure now. And yeah, bulls need to pretty much show up Monday, or this can head to potentially 148. Take a look. Did it drop as much in the after hours? Yeah, same as the Qs dropped as well. Yeah, weakest chart, and we have to see if it can bounce or not. If we get a gap down, Google's probably coming down to 148. Yeah, roughly 147, 148, around this 148.7 zone. But for bulls, ideally show up pretty much here at the spot. Yeah, otherwise we're probably going to come down lower. But this was a weekly bear flag confirming. We are getting slightly oversold on most of the time frames, but we have seen even weaker RSIs before. So don't try to nail the bottom. At least wait for some kind of a trend change, right? Just look at the 5-minute. It's literally nothing today on Friday to even go for a long. It's like tiny bounce. It's like 0.15%. So yeah, don't try to catch the bottom. And let's take a look at Microsoft. Microsoft here is coming back to the same that structure here. It's a little bit weaker. You can see how Amazon was above this structure and bouncing off of it, which Microsoft did as well here. And Amazon kind of went like this, and it's just sitting right there. But Microsoft broke bear on Friday, hence dragging down the Qs as well. So we're coming back to the middle of the structure now. So Microsoft needs to pretty much bounce right here. There's not much liquidity below here, because these are mostly pre-market actions. Pre-market has very low volumes, so ideally it pretty much needs to bounce from where we're sitting right now. Otherwise, it'd probably be an easy flush to 395. $400 is currently a psychological support level as well. So bulls definitely want to hold that, because if 400 breaks, looking at probably closer to 395. And if we do bounce, we're probably just going to come up to test this prior low at 408. Act as resistance. Prior resistance, not as support. Now price is under it, so it's gonna act as resistance again. Yeah, Microsoft is really key because it's one of the biggest caps as well with Apple. Bulls definitely want to see it strong for the market to be bouncing. And Apple does the strongest chart. If everybody looks like Apple, we would have hit all-time high already. But because of other ones, they're dragging down the market. So, I mean, this was an insane bounce, and Apple tried to hold up through this market weakness while market was kind of grinding down. Apple tried, but then couldn't because market's been really weak. So now it's also shaping up potentially like a tiny range. Go up, big go down, big go up. And we'll see if it tightens up um, over time. But still no red flags for Apple for me, to be honest. I just said this is a big enough drop where now bears have a chance to confirm that daily downtrend. So if we break Wednesday's low, then that's a daily downtrend confirmed. Then potentially looking closer to this 2-1-3 zone if bears can confirm that downtrend, breaking Wednesday's low. If they can't, then we're probably going to just come back up to test this 225, which is this wall of resistance right there. So yeah, if Apple holds, that's good for the market. And most key for me is still going to be Nvidia. And this thing just drops sometimes like 10%, drags down the whole market. Yeah, so Nvidia is pretty much coming back down to its structure as well, giving back all of this bounce. So you can see it's testing the middle of the range as well, while the other ones are holding above this structure, right? They're still holding above this 108 for the mega cap techs. So super key is can Nvidia hold the structure, right? If this breaks, that's a continuation of a weekly downtrend. Yeah, not much support along the way. To be honest, I don't really see until this last structure here, right? The high of this structure. It's pretty much where we bounce off of that fear low and bounce, and now we're coming back to test it again. So either this little August structure holds, and then we bounce from here and continue to tighten up in the big tiny range, or this will end up breaking. If this breaks, then we're probably retesting the high of this structure again, potentially around this $97 zone. But first, they need to break that $100 psychological level as well for the bears. So yeah, super key. So a lot of mega cap techs, pretty much bulls need to show up Monday. Otherwise, the structures of their chart would be a little bit more bearish. If we get one more leg down and start breaking these August fear lows, that would shape up a pretty bad look for most of the markets. So we'll see if bulls show up pretty much either Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, and for you bears, pretty much close the low of the day. But it's the weekend, so anything can happen overnight on Sundays for gap ups, gap downs. So we'll see about that. But definitely a bear control week, absolute bear control week, I would say. Tuesday, huge drop, 2 days of sideways action. Right, barely. This is a bear flag. This is a big drop, daily bear flag, weak bounce, and then confirmation of the bear flag confirming. Yeah, so maybe we get a small gap down on Monday, and then bulls just show up from there, and then we get that tiny range. So we'll see. All right, that's all for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and feel free to support the channel on YouTube and Patreon links as well if you guys need mentorship on how to be a consistent trader. And I will see you guys tomorrow for more commodities updates. Have a great rest of you guys' weekend.